Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about dairy. You may have observed that over the last few years there has been a certain amount of skepticism in the use of dairy products, and there has been an increase in consumption of plant-based products and milks such as soy milk and almond milk, which are becoming increasingly popular amongst the youth. But dairy has also been associated with a decreased risk in obesity, cardiovascular disease, improvement in body composition, and improvement in bone mineral density. So what is this confusion all about? I decided to look into a few papers, and in fact I found one that covered a lot of different meta-analysis, systemic reviews, and randomized controlled trials. So this was a huge paper that reviewed all the literature available on this particular subject. I am going to link it down below, so if you're interested, please go ahead and read it for yourself. So if you guys are interested in these type of educational videos and you enjoy this one in particular, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button, and follow us on _Team Meraki on Instagram. Check out our website www.teammeraki.com for our plans, pricing when it comes to coaching, as well as our client case studies. So now without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, so this particular paper aimed to answer 3 questions. Number 1, for a general consumer, will a diet with milk provide better or worse health and increase or reduce risk of mortality as compared to a diet with no milk or dairy involved? Question number 2 was, is it justified to recommend the general lactose tolerant group of the public to avoid consumption of dairy? And question number 3, is there scientific evidence to prove that replacement of milk with plant-based milks will improve health? So in this particular paper, they covered the consumption of dairy and its association with various chronic diseases such as obesity, T2DM, stroke, bone health and osteoporosis, cancer, and all-cause mortality. Alright, so I'm going to go over these one by one. So we're all aware that milk and dairy products are great sources of protein, which is why it's so widely consumed in the fitness industry in order to improve body composition. So from all the papers that were included under this bracket of obesity and T2DM, they found that an increase in 1 serving of milk per day actually caused a decrease in risk of obesity by 13%. So because protein is so satiating and retains lean body mass while you're in a cutting phase or an energy restriction phase, this improves body composition and this may lead to a decrease in T2DM occurrence. In terms of stroke as well, they observed that an increase in dairy was associated with a lower risk for stroke. In fact, a recent meta-analysis that included 31 cohort studies suggested a 9% decrease in risk of stroke with an increased intake of dairy. In terms of bone health and osteoporosis, they did find that calcium was not found to be significantly associated with bone mineral density as much as magnesium was. In adults, there is limited evidence of any positive impact of milk on bone health and risk of fractures in older ages. Now moving on to cancer, they did observe various types of cancer such as colorectal cancer, breast cancer, and prostate cancer. So in terms of colorectal cancer, there seems to be a decreased risk of cancer with an increased intake of dairy products and milk. However, in terms of breast cancer, the evidence was non-conclusive, and in terms of prostate cancer, there is a large amount of inconsistent data, so we cannot drive a conclusion from there. So now this answers 2 of the 3 questions that this paper aimed to speak about, and that is question number 1, whether a diet with milk will provide better or worse health and increase or decrease risk of mortality. So any sort of recommendation to reduce dairy intake or milk intake amongst the general population may actually be counteractive to health benefits. And the second question this answers is, for a normal human being who is tolerant to lactose, is it a good idea to recommend reduction or complete elimination of dairy altogether? In one of the studies highlighted in this meta study, they found out that even people with lactose intolerance can tolerate 1 glass of milk or a scoop of ice cream, and even in terms of cheese and yogurt where the lactose content is relatively low, they will be able to consume it without any significant discomfort. So there's no real reason why they need to avoid dairy altogether. So for example, yogurt is digested pretty easily because it contains bacterial lactase, which helps in the breakdown of lactose. So most fermented dairy products can be consumed by people with a lactose intolerance without any symptoms of discomfort. Now let's talk about point number 3, and that is whether plant-based beverages can really replace milk or not. So as we all know, almond milk is something that has become so popular in the Western world, and it is coming up in India as well. So let's compare a few different kinds of milk. Starting off with cow's milk, which generally has about 3% fat. So 240 ml or 1 cup of cow's milk will give you about 150 calories, 8 grams of protein and 8 grams of fat, as well as 12 grams of carbohydrates. Now, if you speak about almond milk, 1 cup of almond milk gives you a relatively low amount of calories. So that is about 30 calories if you take the unsweetened version, and if you do take a flavored version, it might bump up to close to 100 calories plus maybe 10 to 15 grams of sugar. But we're talking about the unsweetened version only. So 240 ml of unsweetened almond milk gives you 30 calories, which is great if you're trying to cut down on your caloric intake. However, if we speak about the macronutrients in almond milk, 1 cup of almond milk gives you only 1 gram of protein, about 2.5 grams of fat and 1 gram of carbohydrates. So in terms of comparing these two types of milks with each other, the protein content in cow's milk cannot be neglected. So almond milk cannot be considered a good substitute for cow's milk. Since almond milk is basically made by grinding almonds together with water and then taking away the pulp, you are taking away most of the bulk, right? So instead, if you consume 28 grams of almonds, instead of having the milk, if you just take the nuts, 28 grams of almonds gives you about 160 calories, 10 grams of monounsaturated fat, which is good fat, 6 grams of protein and 3 grams of carbs or fiber. So this is a great alternative. Instead of having almond milk, just eat a bunch of almonds. That's going to be so much better because it gives you that much more protein. So better alternative to milk if you have to consume plant-based beverages at all would be soy milk, because 1 cup of soy milk gives you about 131 calories, 8 grams of protein, which matches the amount of protein found in milk, in cow's milk, 4 grams of fat and about 15 grams of carbohydrates. So this is going to be a much better alternative. However, I think when it comes to dairy products, there is an amount of calcium that comes along with it, which generally is not present in plant-based beverages. However, what we have noticed is with the kind of products that are coming in the market, there are a lot of calcium fortified plant-based beverages that are coming out as well. So I would recommend that before you pick up a plant-based beverage for whatever reason, please be sure to read the nutrition profile and pick one that gives you a good amount of protein rather than something like almond milk. Soy milk is one that might actually be a good alternative to dairy if you're someone who cannot consume dairy at all. So that is one that I would recommend over almond milk for sure. Apart from this, I'm sure you'll be able to find pea milk, rice milk, and so many other varieties. But hopefully this gives you a good idea of what I'm trying to say. Now, obviously, there is another side to the production of dairy as well. And I know that there is a lot of stress that's put on this industry, and animals are being mistreated, and this is an argument that comes up a lot whenever we speak about dairy products. However, this video is only speaking about the nutritional content and the facts of dairy consumption and whether it is safe for human consumption. Even with lactose intolerance, you should be okay with a glass of milk or a scoop of ice cream a day. It should not throw you off too much. However, if you're someone who chooses to opt for plant-based products instead, then that's completely up to you. Alright guys, so that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please be sure to check out the study that I've linked in the description box below. That's going to give you a great understanding of what this video is based on. If you have read anything that is a conflict of interest to what I have mentioned in this video, please be sure to leave me a comment below with your sources so I can look into it and learn a bit more as well. Alright, so that is all for today's video. If you liked it, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button, follow us on Instagram, and I will see you in the next video.